Rise, and we're here with the Housecats today. We had them for a live session, and we're just going to do a rig rundown now to go over
I'm kind of stoked.
all their amazing gear and everything.
How should we start?
Let's start with guitars.
That's what I was thinking. Well, we've been using this one guitar, this Supro, and we had a Gretsch Junior Jet for a while. If you listen to my music, you'll notice that I don't play the bass like it's a bass. It's sort of, I play it like it's a guitar. So I had a Gretsch Junior Jet for a while. It was a cheap short scale bass that I bought, and then I found this Supro Huntington short scale. So it's not huge like a bass. It's small. That's what I like about it. But what I love the most about it is probably the pickups here. It's only got one pickup. It's a gold foil pickup. It looks like it's a humbucker, but it's single coil, not double coil. The gold foil, however, it's gold. I don't know what makes it better. It's gold.
I have no idea. But
some guitar heads are going to be flaming me. They're going to be like, he doesn't know what gold foil is. No, I think what it does is it can make it as loud as a humbucker can go, as powerful as a humbucker can go. Single coil, clear like a single coil. Okay. So we wanted this jazzy tone, and you can get that, but it can be loud like rock and roll with the gold foil. And it's gold.
Sounds richer.
Yep.
that's
what we're using.
And you have a Gretsch too that you use
I've
live,
got the
right?
Gretsch Junior Jet that we've used live a few times. I don't have that with me today, but that's kind of, you're going to get limited when you only play short scale bass. There's not a lot of options available.
But Supro is amazing. They make great
Supro
amps.
makes
I had no
amazing
idea that
gear.
they made basses until you guys came in the studio with it. And I was
It's a
like,
pretty
what is
sweet
this?
guitar. I love it.
Sounds incredible. We'll have you demonstrate.
Yeah, I'm going to play it around.
Let's move over to the pedals. See
I
this
got
awesome
a bunch of pedals right here. And
So first off, let's just explain to everyone, like, best you can, how the signal flow works.
yeah, so we'll start with the guitar.
Housecats is like,
Yeah. So I plug into this black cord. This is where everything begins. So you can picture kind of a bass noise. All I play is a bass guitar, as you know. Bass noise goes into this ABY splitter and gets split out to two channels, two directions. And I can control which amp I'm using with these, or which, I guess, signal that's going through. The first one we'll start with is really simple, output A. You get a bass noise in and a bass noise out this cord into this MXR micro amp. I use this just to increase the gain and bass on my bass guitar. So it's still a bass tone, just a boom and bass. And then goes right into the bass amp. This purple cord goes right into the bass amp. There's not much more to the bass except for this one single button pedal from Fender. The back of my Fender amp has
just a switch?
Yeah, it's just a foot switch, that's all it is. And certain Fender amps, amps in general, will have a switch for whatever function the amp has. This one's overdrive on my bass amp, so I can turn overdrive on and off. So these are my bass buttons.
And then channel A goes into the
channel,
POG?
Actually, so this is channel B, goes into the POG,
okay.
output B. So as you can see, a bass tone is still coming through here. We haven't even heard a guitar tone yet until it's the POG, which is a polyphonic octave generator. And as you can see, I've got octave up, turned all the way up, and then everything else turned all the way down. So there's no dry, no sub-octave, only octave up. So my bass tone essentially is turned into a guitar tone with this pedal. And now you can almost imagine a guitar tone is now going into the rest of the pedal board.
Does it go to the OCD next?
Yeah, it goes right into the OCD, so there's not much more to that. Just so I can get... Yeah, I tried a few other distortion pedals, but overdrive is just better.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got low power on. I haven't tried high power only because
it's a lot more.
It's
I used
a
to
lot.
have
Yeah, it's loud and we don't need that because we've got a lot of amps, and one amp's already got distortion kind of on it. So
softer.
Yeah, it's a little softer. We're not trying to be as hard rock as we sound. Sometimes that's why I've got the single coil pickup for that jazzy sound. And so low power is where I like it. And they're not even turned up past noon. They're all kind of, I don't know what that would be.
You got the NS2, is at the end of the chain?
Yeah, so I'm going in from the OCD to the NS2 just because
it's very necessary
when you have
rig.
with a rig like this, you get feedback for days. So I turn the noise suppressor on, and this is a smart pedal. It's neat how it doesn't get rid of the tones I'm trying to, but it can tell when I'm not trying to make a noise. Closes the gate. So I really like this pedal, and it's great for live shows. Gets rid of a lot of the feedback. So this is always on the entire time, unless I'm trying to do some weird ass I don't know, feedback thing.
Yeah,
That goes into a tuner, which cuts the signal of the guitar. So if it's on, no noise will come through, which is great, and then I can tune my instrument. And then it goes into another ABY that splits it again. So this guitar tone kind of goes through all these pedals before it gets split now into two different guitar amps. This B line is for my line 6, and I'll show you that in a second. And then A line goes into my Fender one. So this is more my rhythm guitar, and this one's more the chorus guitar. And I can turn them both on, as you can see they're both on, or I can just cycle between one or the other. So yeah, that's how it works. And then I've actually set up my pedal board so I can turn it on. I hit multiple pedals at once. So like right now, if just bass is on and both guitars are on, so like let's say this is every noise I could possibly get. Both guitar amps are on and the bass amp's on as well. I can turn off the bass amp and one of the guitar amps, so it becomes just one single guitar amp right now. And then with one push. So I kind of set it up like that, or I could turn guitar off and then distort the bass with one push by putting
That's
that.
why it's all funky.
Yeah, so it's a little
So you
funky.
can hit all that.
Or I could turn guitar off by, I don't know.
Cool.
It's all localized here. I don't usually press these while I'm playing.
All right.
So that's If you've ever been wondering how it works.
Yeah, we'll show the Pog especially. That's really cool.
Yeah,
That sounds
nice.
amazing. And we'll do.
Let's take a look at my amps.
Let's start with the bass amp. So you go first.
Yeah,
This one.
so this is my Fender Rumble. Fender Rumbles are great. This one's a 500, I think. Is it? Yeah, Fender Rumble 500. I wanted to buy the biggest one I could, so I chose the Fender Rumble 500.
And you usually have it not too much drive on the bass, right?
No, I usually play the bass
Clean.
super clean, and you'll hear I'll play the bass. It's super clean, almost the entire performance. The only time I do distort it is for different, like I guess breakdowns, licks, something a little funkier. I'll turn a little overdrive on and cut off the guitar amps, so that way it adds a different tone. But I do have that overdrive option. It's generally very clean though.
And then it goes into. Is this one which one?
This one's more my
rhythm.
rhythm guitar, and then
The nasty tone.
and the nasty tone
It's
we
the
love
line
from a
6.
nasty line 6. So I wanted a Fender amp to match my Fender Rumble, and this one, I think it was just an affordable price for a loud amp. This thing can get loud, and it's a very reliable tone. So it's got a tiny bit of distortion already on it. So even after I add the OCD, it just kind of adds. It's just a dirty rhythm, and it's not loud usually. It kind of adds this radio noise, but I don't know. It's a pretty tone. You'll hear it. I'll play it for you, but.
Yeah, so just come through the Pog.
Yeah, there's not really much else to it. I mean, because I've got the OCD on it, I let my amps run relatively clean already. And then this one actually does have a pretty constant, like a little bit of distortion. After I add the OCD though, it's the cool noise.
And this one has a lot more, right? Always.
And this thing, so this was an accident. I've never been a fan of Line 6.
Yeah, we've talked about
We've
this
talked
before,
about this.
Yeah, when we were recording.
But when I was
debate of which amp to use, I'm like,
exactly, I know. Everyone hesitates when they come to shows. They ask me, they're like, why do you have a Line 6? And I asked myself that for a while, but I've honestly grown to love this amp.
Yeah.
So.
Well, in the chain with everything, it's just.
Yeah,
it does exactly
the coolest.
You need it.
I was always surprised. So when we started, I got this amp. Actually, it used to be my brother's amp. So my brother was the one who convinced me to play the guitar and helped teach me a lot. And so my parents bought us a cheap Line 6 Spider. I don't know. They went to guitar centers and they asked. It's a good starter amp, and they got them this. So when I was starting my rock band, I decided to pull this out, and it was awful, and I never liked it. But there was something that I found amazing when I plugged it into this pedal board with the Pog and the OCD. I don't know how it worked, but I just turned the Pog and the OCD on and put this really clean setting with a tiny bit of reverb. And we went to some show, and everyone's like, "How in the world are you doing that tone? What is that producer making?"
Yeah,
it's
but
amazing.
your sound is more of a collection of everything.
It's a collection, yeah. So this is the chorus. This is the fat, muddy sound we get.
Yeah.
Which could only be achieved with a shitty amp. So
yeah,
it's a happy accident. I wouldn't trade it because I honestly love it. I mean, if I do get a different amp, it would also be.
Are you just killing the mids on?
Yeah, I kill the mids on everything. Actually, no, I kill a lot of treble because this has most of my treble. And you can't, these aren't turned because it's got presets. So
Oh,
you can turn
okay,
it
so
on.
that's not exactly what it's showing.
Yeah, I've got a couple presets that I can use, but I almost always only use this one, which I'll play it for you clean right now.
But this
so you
one
can hear
here, you
it.
have like tons of treble.
Yeah, so this one's my
mids,
treble, and
like
this,
no
this
bass.
is the mid, and obviously the bass amps the bass.
Yeah, a lot of it is just because you're trying to.
Yeah, but let me give it a. Let me play with all the different sounds I can make.
Yeah, it's
And you can hear it. All right, I'm gonna show you all the possible tones I can do with this rig. So let's just start with the bass. It's just my clean bass tone. I play all this. So that's my clean bass tone. I play sometimes distorted. Here's the same bass tone with my distortion. If I add in guitar, if we just play just the guitars, you can kind of hear the difference between my two amps. I kind of want to play them without the octave pedal or the distortion. So this is kind of the clean guitar tone that I'm getting through my Fender. So no, that's with the POG, or that's with no POG, so that's my bass tone. So this is the octave tone I'm getting through my Fender. Sounds like a guitar. If I add the distortion, however, I get that. So that's my verse guitar. That's like the rhythm. It's pretty dirty, and that's the power of the OCD, and you get that right. If I did the same thing on my other amp, so let's just play we'll get just the POG. This is kind of the guitar noise I'm getting through the line 6. As opposed to the Fender. Line 6. So you can tell it's more of a mid tone. There's a little bit of reverb. It's a little different. But when we add the distortion, you're going to get the tone that people tend to ooh and ah over. I don't know
it's
how
the Housecats
Yeah,
tone.
this is the Housecats tone. If I combine them and you get the rhythm guitar into it, you can hear a little increase in the high tones. We can play the same thing but with the bass, and this is our whole setup. That's the rig.
Alright, we're here with Colin. He's gonna show us his drum kit.
So this is my drum kit. A lot of people were like, whoa, this is a drum kit. And I said, yeah. It's really confusing because a lot of the time, instead of just playing one drum at a time, I tend to play as many of the drums at one time. So sometimes you'll hear a bass drum, and sometimes you hear a bass drum and a snare drum, but most of the time, all of the drums are being used.
Thank you.